Yo, it's CJ, and today's quick set is entitled Where to Go for Inspiration in Life. So first off, let's start with a couple of dictionary definitions of inspiration. Inspiration is something that makes someone want to do something, or gives an idea about what to create. It is a force of influence that inspires someone. A more simplified version is, inspiration is the process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something. Let me break down the origin of the word, which is so powerful. Inspire is from the Latin word inspire, meaning to breathe or blow into. When you are inspired, you are literally having an idea breathed into you. The word's origins are quite literal. When I personally think of the word inspiration, what comes to my mind is something that gives me hope and empowers me to change, build, or grow for the better. On the screen are some examples of famous people who inspired me at different stages of my life. Martin Luther King. He was a civil rights leader and a voice against racial discrimination in the 1960s in the US. He inspired me to stand up against injustice and promote nonviolence. Nipsey Hussle, an American rapper who emerged from the West Coast in mid-2000s. He inspired me through his generosity in terms of positive impact on his culture and community. And finally, artistically, Lauryn Hill. She inspired me through her influential voice in hip-hop, and she was one of the first female rappers to succeed in a male-dominated industry. She holds the record of winning the most Grammys for any female rapper ever. These are all examples of positive influences. However, unfortunately, people can be inspired by negative influences also. It is important that you channel your positivity when selecting inspiration to help you to grow and develop. Another person who I am greatly inspired by is this man. Considered one of the pioneers of reggae music, a singer, songwriter, musician, and a truly spiritual man, Robert Nesta Marley, otherwise known as Bob Marley. This is a quote from him, which I think affirms this very point of influence. The greatness of a man is not how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and his ability to affect those around him positively. So I have a challenge for you. Select one of the places on this list to visit. When there, clear your mind and ask yourself the questions. What am I looking to achieve? What stops or reduces my motivation? What little things make me happy? What one thing do I need to do differently to help me grow? Which one of these will you select? Library or bookstore? Become curious, focus on books, the subjects you need inspiring on. Early morning walks, be awake with the sun rising and no sound but birds can both be calming and inspiring. Hotel lobbies, the change in environment can shake you out of daily routine autopilot. Plus, people watching can be fun and spark creativity. Parks and hiking trails. Observe the environment around you, keeping an eye out for wildlife around you and taking in the fresh air. Art museums. If you're going to learn from somebody, why not one of the greats? Explore art of many kinds from a variety of eras, countries, and styles to increase your perspective. Live concerts and performances. There's something extraordinary about seeing a live band or actors perform in complete harmony. Supermarket. May seem strange. Work with me. Have you ever walked through a quiet supermarket? As soon as they open, it's one of the neatest and tidiest places. Great visuals, impactful packaging, the immaculate look of the fresh fruit and vegetables, not to mention the smell of fresh bread. A place where all your senses are easily stimulated. I had the opportunity to interview an amazing Apprentice Nation artist, Heady One, and explore where he finds his inspiration from. What's going on? It's your boy CJ and I'm here with Heady One. What's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
I'm blessed, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, good, man, good. So, couple questions, all about inspiration. Do you feel you inspire people through your music, and do you consider yourself to be an inspirational person?
I like to think my music is inspiring, but I don't know if I would say I'm an inspirational person, because I don't really feel like that's up to me to make that decision, if you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I feel like I try to inspire others through my music.
I love that, man. The second question is, where do you find your inspiration from in life?
A lot of my inspirations from like my past situations and the contrast it is till now. Because obviously when I was back in those situations, it was kind of like a long shot and very unlikely for those kind of changes to happen. So that's where I get my continuous inspiration from.
And finally, do you see yourself as a role model to young people?
That's a tough question because obviously I've had situations in the past where I haven't really been the greatest of role models, but I won't see myself as an individual as a role model. Probably the story that I tell or the story that I come with is probably what should be more appreciated than me as an individual.
I love that. Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heady One. I now want to share with you different sources and materials that can help you look for inspiration. More obvious places to look are in books, songs, films, and documentaries. However, places that are less obvious can include fashion, within your culture, art, even within poetry, charity, community leaders, teachers, family, and locations. Now we're going to hear directly from Lord Michael Hastings, CBE. He is a man full of knowledge and experience, and he is both my mentor and a huge inspiration in my life. Get ready for some gems. Make sure you take notes. It is possible that just one quote from Lord Hastings could positively change your life forever. Today we have the amazing Lord Michael Hastings with us today. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell them a bit more about yourself.
First name is Michael Hastings. My government name, as some people like to say, is Lord Dr. Michael Hastings, CBE, Commander of the British Empire. I've gathered honours over the decades, which I've never sought, never paid for, never asked for. I'm just delighted to get sometimes a recognition for service.
Amazing. Thank you so much for giving up your time to speak to us today. We're talking about inspiration and what inspiration means, and I thought you were the best person to ask to be a guest on this platform today. I wanted to ask you firstly, when was the moment you recognized and you realized that you were an inspirational role model to other people?
Well, I came across this quote recently from a man called John Quincy Adams, who was a Secretary of State in the United States in the early 19th century. He said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you're a leader. So you've got to have something that you do that causes other people to say, it's you. And way back in 1980, I took on my second ever job. I was a school teacher, and the school I was teaching in West London, pretty rundown school to be completely honest. And as I began to go in day by day, one of the things I noticed every day was the levels of litter and mess around the school site were very disturbing, and lots of graffiti on the walls and lots of drawing on books and desks and all this kind of thing. And I thought, come on, if we can clean this place up, it will change the character of the school. But the caretakers were not very keen on caretaking. And as far as the head teacher was concerned, we've given up. So I said, I'll do it. So I decided I would go out. I went out to home base and I went and bought some of those grabby sticks. I bought two. I went and bought 2 bins, all this of my own money. I bought a load of bags. And I thought the next day I'm going to start cleaning this place up. So I went in at 7 in the morning. And I did 7 in the morning every single day, so 5 days school sitting. It was about 2 months before a single other person noticed that I was doing it. And a child noticed I was doing it. And so he said, well, I'll come and join you tomorrow. So he joined me tomorrow and he brought 2 of his friends. And then as the days went by, it went from me and this guy and 2 of his friends into me, this guy, and about 20 others.
Crazy.
And all of a sudden, we had a gorgeously clean site because the kids stopped dropping the litter. They stopped pushing Coke cans into the bushes. They stopped writing on the walls. They stopped graffitiing away on the desks and the books. And I realized I'd done something. I just made a simple choice to do something very basic, which had inspired others to choose to clear a place in which they could have dignity. And that's the first time I realized, wow, basic stuff, other people will follow.
So where do you get inspiration from? What are these different sources, places, books? Is it people? Is it quotes? Where do you get these inspirations from?
Well, let me give you three sources of inspiration. So, one of the things I do in life now is I'm a professor of leadership at a United States university, and I teach the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Incredible.
And the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is a book by Stephen R. Covey, written around about 25 years ago, but updated on a regular basis. Probably sold, up to now, it's around about 55 million copies have been sold around the world, which probably means something in the region of 400 million people have read this book. It's the most read leadership and management book in the world outside of the Bible. And Stephen Covey's teaching was very simple. It was, you got to know what your principles of life and operation are. It's habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. In other words, you've got to have a sense of where you're going with the action you're taking, or the process you want to put in place. Where is this going to lead to? And what are the steps you need to put in place to get there? A whole ton of people just go to work or don't go to work, do stuff or don't do stuff, but with no plan, no purpose. They have an event or don't have an event. What's the point? And I suppose I'd also say, to you, wonderful CJ that you are, is the more time you spend serving others, the more you discover that you can really transform the world beyond your even imagination.
Wow. That is special. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. Last question, unfortunately, because you've given us so many gems. Last question for this segment is, when advising young people in setting life goals, where would you suggest they first look for sources of inspiration?
Well, I would always say, and I say this now to all that, and as you know, I mean a lot of young people. And I was in a prison last week meeting another group of young people. I always meet young people. What I would say, I said to them, and I would say to anyone, is this: look back at Muhammad Ali, the great boxer. Look back at his life. Look back at William Wilberforce. Look back at the people, that remarkable woman who founded the whole nursing profession. Look back at people who have given time, energy, and life to make important things happen, and then ask, what were their qualities? What were the stories of their complexities? And the one thing you'll find that's common in every single case is they took on a struggle because it was hard. It was worth doing. You'll never find that it was an easy. Nothing about inspiring people is a slip-in.
Wow. That is amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. Lord Michael Hastings. We appreciate you giving those valuable and very significant words to us today. So if anyone wants to connect with you, wants to be able to further this conversation, wants to see more of what you're doing for the community and for the culture, how can we stay in contact with you?
Well, you can always follow me on Twitter, which is at Lord Hastings. I think that's probably the best way. Or you can, if you're on LinkedIn, you can follow me on LinkedIn, which is also at Lord Hastings, and have a look.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, CJ. Take care.
I told you there were going to be some gems. That was so powerful. Let's recap on a couple of Lord Hastings gems. If you're looking for inspiration on leadership, check out 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. You may have heard the saying that to know where you're going, you have to know where you come from. So I recommend you Googling the life of William Wilberforce, former Member of Parliament 1780. Here are some additional ones from me. The Comfort Book, Matt Haig, is an inspirational book on self-development and self-discovery. The Pursuit of Happiness is a beautiful film on positive mental attitude and can-do attitude. Also, Stephen Bartlett hosts an amazing podcast. It doesn't hold back from confronting challenging conversations which others would find difficult. Finally, Jay Shetty, host of the Calm app, has a fantastic YouTube channel which champions building self-value and self-esteem in your everyday life. and careers, as well as relationships. It is okay to have several sources of inspiration. Remember, your life is your unique journey. Depending on where you are on that journey will influence what you need inspiration in, what will motivate you, what will drive you, and what will move you. One of our straplines here at Apprentice Nation is, one gig can change your story. That could mean one interaction, connection, even one event could influence your life. Who knows, this quick set might be that for you. I could continue to talk about the subjects for hours. I hope you can feel that this is a subject so close to my heart. Before I sign off, there is one quick set that I wanted to highlight you check out after this one. Who are you? Discover your purpose. I also recommend you head over to Apprentice Nation's site and select one of our mentors who are great sources of inspiration and can help guide you on the next stage of your journey.
I always get inspired going back home, and I never mean to, yeah? Sometimes you want to go to the mountains to get inspired and that. But like, sometimes I go back home and I remember what I'm doing it for, seeing all the youths and that running around. That's really important. But also just like the essence of certain individuals. Like, we have great minds around us in the musical world alone, like Kendrick, these sort of names that they aspire to be great. And I feel like that inspires me to aspire to be great. And nothing they say really resonates as well in representing the essence of that, you know? Like, the words don't say it, it's the actions and what he wants, what he decides for himself when he picks up the pen. That's kind of where I draw my inspiration.